Hello, it's Alex here from LearnBeachVolleyballFast.com, and this is part 4 in my hand setting mini series. This video is going to be sort of a mix of a few small notes that I'll just throw out there. So first, one technical thing. So far in this mini series we have talked in part 1 about hand positioning, distinct hand positioning, and maybe the handshake method. And in part 2 we talked about the ball release, and I gave you sort of a drill how to teach your body how to release cleanly. I talked about in part 2 that you can double both before and after, like both when you catch the ball and also when you release the ball. And we were cleaning up the release in part 2. And I guess sort of in part 1 we were cleaning up the catch. So we are having a distinct hand position where the hands are sort of the same, excuse me for the shaky camera, but sort of equal, and the ball comes and lands in both of them at the same time. However, there is a third thing that is very crucial, and these are like the crucial biggest 3 things with hand setting technique for it to become clean, is that you have to have your body in the right position. You have to do some footwork and move yourself so that this hand position that you have actually ends up being under the ball. And the crucial thing here is that you want to do that work with your feet and not with your hands. So you don't want to move your hands too much to where the ball is and have it set from the sides and behind and whatnot. You rather want to do the footwork. In some cases you can do a little bit of more of a hand movement and like save some positions and save some balls that you might have misjudged with your feet, but that's sort of more an advanced strategy, so that's not something we're gonna go into when we're learning. So make sure that you do the footwork to get under the ball. I should also mention that wind does make this a difficult task to do, because the wind will move the ball in sometimes weird directions, especially if the wind is sort of coming from everywhere and it's not like a steady wind from one direction. So don't practice this in the wind in the beginning. Because you're gonna get frustrated and it's gonna be too hard to handle at once. So practice this, making sure that your footwork takes you under the ball in windless conditions in the beginning. So those 3 things are, according to me, the 3 most crucial things about hand setting technique to make it clean and legal. Then there's of course many other things to consider, like strategy, like sort of where do you set the ball, how you move into the ball, making sure that your partner knows where you're setting the ball, which there can be different ways of doing, and there's the advanced strategies, and there's even more detail to the technique, and so on and so on and so on. But I couldn't really find on YouTube videos explaining what I've explained so far about hand setting. So I wanted to make this video series and sort of fill that gap. And as you know, I am going to make a course, an in-depth course, where I'll go in-depth in a lot more than in this mini series. So we'll cover that there in that case. However, I want to share sort of a funny story, or sort of how I learned how to hand set, because I definitely did not have my course to learn from, or this mini series, or anything. So actually what I did, I simply did this. Once I had decided that I'm going to learn this thing, I basically, every now and then, I walked up to someone that I thought had beautiful handsets, and I asked them, hey, can I steal a minute of your time? And they would be like, yeah, fine. Can you just look at my handsets and tell me one thing that you would change about it? And then I would do a couple handsets, and the person would be like, yeah, it looks like you're holding the hands a little bit weird, or something else. It doesn't matter what small detail they gave me. And I would be like, cool, thanks, awesome. And then I would spend the next few weeks on making sure that I changed that thing. So I changed that one little small detail. What happened next is that I would probably go to someone else that I thought had good handsets, and I would ask them the same question. Hey, can you look at my handsets? And is there something you would want to change about them to make them better? And now they would give me something else. And so I sort of just like used people that had good handsets to just give me quick feedback, and then I would change that. And by doing that, well, obviously I learned more about what the handset should be like, and I got to hear some theories from people. But it took me about 3 months to sort of like fine-tune things. And I mean, there's probably still a lot of stuff I could change about my handsets, but they seem to work, and people seem to be happy with with where they are going and stuff like that. I thought I should add this little piece here to avoid some confusion. So if you have seen my problem solving philosophy videos or my video analysis videos, or maybe some other future video that I haven't created yet, you might have understood that I'm not a big fan of short volleyball advice, because it's very easy to misunderstand and misinterpret, which might actually kill your game. So why am I now then telling you to, in the handset as a strategy, go and ask people for short advice, short quicks and tips that you can then shape your handset with and ultimately get to a good handset? The reason is that I believe that the attack and the serve-receive passing are actually way more complicated skills that are way more dependent on underlying root causes of problems than the handset is, which means that the quick tip that people will see and give you are much more likely to be the right feedback that you need at the exact moment. So this is why I'm actually saying that in the handset, the nature of the handset is simpler, so you can go and do this. Of course, in general, it's always good to talk with people and discuss people's ideas about things. But in the handset, you're more likely to get good advice than in attacking or passing. And again, I don't have time right now to go and explain why I believe these things, because then we have to look at a lot at passing and attacking, which we will do someday in the future. But I hope this makes sense. Let's continue. So yeah, I guess that's like the do-it-yourself method. Like if I was you and I would maybe like just watch this YouTube series, change those things that I've talked about, and then do that, the do-it-yourself method after that. Obviously, in the course I'm gonna share like everything that I've collected, every insight that I've understood during a couple years of researching the handset and teaching it to people. So my sort of idea with the course is that I want everyone that buys a course from me to have at least 10 times the value. So let's say that you would spend what would take you 1 hour to work and get a salary for a course. I want you to get at least 10 hours of saved frustration from that course. I hope that makes sense. Or if it would be a 2-hour salary, it would be 20 hours of frustration. Because as I said in the video before, it is a mystery if you don't know what to change. And we don't like mysteries. But when we have a clear path of how to do stuff and what to do first and what to do after that, and also know how it makes sense to do it in that order, which is stuff that I'll do in the course, well, then it's all of a sudden it's just a process. Just learn this. This is how you learn that. This is how our bodies work. This is how our brain learns new technique. I'll go through that kind of stuff as well. Becomes very simple. It's just like blueprint kind of thing. And then there's one more practical tip to make sure that you learn, once you decide to learn the handset, that you actually get enough repetitions, which is when you play games with your friends or whoever you're playing volleyball with, simply ask one simple question when you start playing. Ask, or tell them, I am practicing the handset right now. Is it okay for me to double or lift or do faults today? Most of the time, unless you're playing about money or some sort of other important thing, people are gonna be like, sure. I mean, since you asked, since you have a reason for it, since you have decided that you're gonna learn it, that's fine. People tend to like when someone has decided something and want to support them. If if it hurts people's egos, if you happen to win with a bunch of ugly handsets, well, you can even tell them that if you would happen to win, you actually don't win today. I don't know if that makes a difference, but maybe it does for someone. But yeah, obviously, if you go to a proper competition or you play about something like whatever, money or something, people are probably not gonna accept it. But if you just go and play with your friends, most probably they will think it's cool. Maybe they want to join in. Maybe they actually want to also practice their hand setting, and it's sort of liberating to sometimes just let the rules go loose for getting more repetitions, because that's what it's about. If you're learning something new, some new technique, you want to get repetitions of that. And one of the best things is to get repetitions in a proper game situation, which is fully game-like. Alright, that's it for today. That was sort of a collection of a few thoughts. As always, there's 3 things you can do. You can like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, you can join my Facebook group. But today, there's going to be a 4th thing that you can do. And I'm going to give you a very good reason for it. If this video series so far, it's not done yet, if so far it has helped you and you think it's valuable, then you should share it to your friends. And here's why. If you think forward, if your friends are not good hand setters, you want them to become that. Because you will want to practice spiking in the future. For sure, you are going to want to practice spiking. Personally. And personally for you, it's the better sets your friends have for you to practice spiking. So therefore, and as I said today, you can play games and you can ask your friends, hey, can I be a little bit loose on the handset rule today because I'm practicing? And of course it's going to be easier if all of you are doing it at the same time and all of you are sharing ideas about hand setting at the same time in the same period of your volleyball careers. So I said it took me like 3 months to learn this. I think you can do it quicker actually than me, because I was sort of slow. I had no idea. I was just asking around for people for tips. So I think you can do it quicker than 3 months. But why not have that 1 or 2 month period or 3 month period together with your friends at the same time? Because it's going to be more fun, it's going to be easier. You can even go to the basketball court together. You don't need to do the alone drill alone. And yeah, it's just more fun that way. Alright, cool. See you in the next video where we're going to have a deeper look at the alone drill at the basketball court.